Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you an app that I created called Canary, and I worked with another person on this Canary app to really build out some additional features. So I'll first start by telling you what the Canary app is and showing you how it works, and then I'll show you the features that I created. I'll walk you through the code, and then I will show you some of the tests that I created for the app to ensure that when I make changes that it won't break any past changes that I made. So first I'll start by opening up the app on my Android simulator. And so this is the app I created called Canary, or I worked on this app. And so some of the things that I worked on were this tab, the tags tab, and I worked on the profile tab. So I'll show you what those things do and what the app does as a whole. Essentially, this app is a way for somebody to log their moods and the things that they've done in relation to those moods. For example, when you click on this little pencil button, you can enter information about how are you feeling that day. So let's say I'm feeling happy, and you can note some other things that were happening. I can type in other information that I want to remember and just record my mood. When I do that, the information will show up in this history tab. So this is the one that I just added, September 26th. And I can also view the just breakdown of data within this tags tab. So this tags tab is what I focused on first. And you can see here that these are all broken down by the moods that I entered. And then down here is the activities, and it's broken down by activity. So as I enter a new mood, this chart will get populated, and the same with the activities to show me, what were my general moods over the last, however long I've been using the app. And then the other thing that I've been working on was this profile tab. So this allows somebody to enter information about what they want to see when they're entering a mood. So for example, when they click on this little pencil, you can see there's exercise, sleep, etc. And if, let's say, they decided that they didn't want to track any more meditation, they can close that out, and that will get removed from the list of options that they'll see. So now when I go back in here, meditation is no longer on the list. And this is a data persistence thing that I worked on so that when you enter back into the app, it will remain there. So I can close out and we'll still see the same exercises and activities. The next thing you can do is add a new activity. So like, let's say I want to say singing. Oh, singing is already on there. Dancing. Then I can say dancing. Let's see. And now, hold on, let me close that out. Dancing, and I'm going to add the activity to the mood log. Now that gets added up here on the top. So when I enter that in and try to enter a new mood, you can see that I danced today, and I can add that as an activity. So now I'll go to my history tab, and I'll see that my new activity that I entered was in there, as well as my mood. So that's the main part of what I did on the app. And I think that this just shows you that it's really important to be able to work with somebody else on an app. So I built out an app that already had some features to it, which is exactly what you would usually be doing as a software engineer. So now I'll show you through a little bit about how the code works. I organized the code by having this data section, and then each of the UI elements that were a tab or that little pencil, each of those is a fragment here. So here's the profile fragment, for example, and this profile fragment has all the data about what happens when you actually enter onto the profile tab. First, it's going to create this view, and then it's going to be getting the information from the database. So going back to the database, you can see up here in the data section, we have the Sqlitedb Helper. This is where I am maintaining the database that continues even after I close out the app. So it'll start out with a list of moods, and then you can actually add to them. And then I've put in some SQL down here at the bottom. Let's see. So it's kind of modified SQL, but basically when you enter some things in, then it will automatically get added into the database. So that's how the UI works, and a little bit about the code. Now I will show you some of the unit tests that I did. I think it's really important to create unit tests because it allows you to have a little bit more confidence that what you think is working is actually working. And what you can actually do is create these tests before you implement the feature, and you can keep in mind those things when you're actually building it, so that you're building to make sure that you get those tests to pass. So right when you write the test, they should fail, and then once you write the feature correctly, then those tests would pass. So let's go into the profile, or no, let's try the DB helper. So in this section, it has a bunch of different tests that will validate that the database is appearing how I want it to appear. So I'm asserting that the database equals a certain thing once I have run this query. And so I've done a bunch of different unit tests and unit tests for all of the different tabs. And anytime I put a new method into the application or add a new piece of functionality, I try to add in that as a unit test as well, so that you can run all of these tests together and ensure that your app is working. So with that, I will close out, but would love to hear any comments that you have.